In the spring of 334 BCE, 80 soldiers from the Australian Special Air Service Regiment, SASR, were participating in a NATO joint training exercise in Turkey when a sudden electromagnetic anomaly forced them to crash land on the western bank of the Granicus River. Their equipment system remained largely intact, but their training mission orders were lost in the chaos of the crash, leaving them isolated and stranded. The crash site was of great historical significance. It was precisely the key ferry crossing where Alexander the Great was supposed to defeat the Persian Empire. At that moment, on the opposite bank of the river, 40,000 Persian troops, including 5,000 cavalry and 35,000 infantry, had formed a battle formation, standing ready. What they faced was an elite special operations unit equipped with modern weapons and capable of night combat. The core focus of this simulation is, can 80 modern special operations soldiers defend against Persian forces 500 times their size? The analysis will combine Lanchester's square law with historical records of the Greco-Persian Wars, focusing on the equipment differences between the two sides, terrain utilization strategies, and the three phases of the battle. Equipment and tactical deployment. SASR equipment. 21st century firepower. Ancient steel. All SASR soldiers were equipped with the tiered body armor system, which could effectively resist attacks from various close combat weapons of the Persian army. Their primary weapon was the Colt M4A1 carbine, with a rate of fire of 900 rounds per minute, capable of precise strikes within an effective range of 500 meters. Complemented by 3 FN Minimi light machine guns and 2 M240L general-purpose machine guns, it could effectively shatter cavalry charges and penetrate the armor and shields of Persian soldiers. The unit carried 2 M72 Law 66mm light anti-tank weapons, which had extremely strong destructive power against dense infantry or cavalry formations. 3 Corvo X vertical takeoff and landing UAVs could realize real-time battlefield intelligence transmission. Combined with the AN PVS-14 night vision monocular equipped by each soldier, an all-weather surveillance system was built, accurately making up the Persian army's weakness in night combat capabilities. In addition, 5.56mm enhanced performance ammunition, high-explosive grenades, and smoke grenades were also provided to meet diverse operational needs. Persian army equipment, quantity and tradition. The 5,000 cavalry of the Persian army were mainly equipped with bronze-tipped spears and composite bows, with an effective range of about 150 meters. Moreover, the cavalry horses were not equipped with protective armor, resulting in weak defensive capabilities.
The 35,000 infantry consisted of 2 parts. One part was well-trained Greek mercenary hoplites skilled in phalanx warfare, and the other part was poorly equipped Persian conscripts with limited combat effectiveness. The overall tactical system was rigid, overly relying on the advantage of troop quantity. The core combat logic of the Persian army was to implement suppression relying on the scale of 40,000 troops with a fixed tactical process. Cavalry took the lead in charging, followed by infantry breakthroughs. However, after decades of special operations training, one of the core tactics of the SASR was to deal with such dense group attacks. It could convert the Persians' numerical advantage into a tactical disadvantage through terrain utilization and firepower superiority. Terrain and tactical deployment. The terrain of the Granicus River had natural defensive advantages. The river was 1 to 2 meters deep with swift currents. The riverbank was 3 to 4 meters high, and a 200-meter wide gravel beach was distributed on the western bank, forming a natural tactical bottleneck. This could limit the number of Persian troops attacking at a single time to 50 to 100, fundamentally eliminating their numerical advantage. Combined with the terrain characteristics, the SASR formulated targeted defensive deployments. Machine gun positions. Machine guns were deployed at commanding heights on the western bank to construct a crossfire network,
fully covering the gravel beach area and forming a fire kill zone without dead ends. Rifleman deployment. The remaining soldiers were deployed in pairs along the riverbank, relying on terrain cover to prioritize attacking Persian officers and archers, disrupting their command system and attacking rhythm. Anti-tank weapon teams. Concealed on both sides of the beachhead, they stood by and observed, implementing precise strikes when the Persian army formed dense formations to crush their assault attempts in advance. UAV reconnaissance. UAVs were kept on continuous aerial patrol to transmit real-time intelligence on Persian troop movements, providing support for the command team to adjust firepower deployment and predict enemy actions. Battle development. Phase 1, First Offensive, Day 1, 0800 to 1200. At dawn, the Persian headquarters issued an attack order. 1,000 median cavalry took the lead as vanguards to launch an assault, unaware that the SASR had completed preliminary reconnaissance and surveillance via UAVs and made preparations for battle in advance. When the median cavalry entered the fire coverage area, the SASR machine gun detachment opened fire immediately. The M240L general-purpose machine guns and FN Minimi light machine guns formed crossfire, defeating 800 cavalry in only 10 minutes, with the remaining 200 cavalry fleeing in panic. Subsequently, the Persian army sent 2,000 Bactrian cavalry and 5,000 Greek mercenary hoplites to launch a second attack,
both of which were suppressed by the SASR's superior firepower and completely routed in only 15 minutes. By noon, the Persian army had suffered 3,000 casualties, including 2,000 cavalry and 1,000 infantry, while the SASR had only 2 soldiers slightly injured. During this period, UAVs detected 500 Persian cavalry attempting to bypass and cross the river from upstream. The command team immediately dispatched a machine gun detachment to intercept, successfully killing 400 of them. Seeing the disastrous defeat of the first offensive, the Persian headquarters ordered the entire army to retreat to the eastern bank of the river to regroup and adjust their battle plan. Phase 2, Night Operations and Attrition Warfare. Day 1, 1800 hours. Day 2, 0600 hours. After nightfall, all SASR soldiers activated their night vision equipment, forming an advantage in night combat. In contrast, the Persian army lacked night combat capabilities and fell into a blind state with limited visibility. The SASR sent 4 to 6 man assault teams to cross the river secretly by inflatable rafts, infiltrate the periphery of the Persian camp to plant directional mines. After detonation, the mines caused 200 Persian soldiers to be killed and 500 injured. At the same time, snipers relied on night vision aiming equipment to accurately kill Persian camp sentries and junior officers from 300 meters away, completely destroying their night command system.
Patrolling UAVs at night detected 1,000 Persian infantry attempting to sneak across the river under the cover of darkness. The command team immediately guided the machine gun detachment to conduct fire strikes, successfully killing 800 of them, and the remaining infantry were forced to retreat to the eastern bank. At dawn, the Persian army suffered an additional 1,500 casualties, while the SASR had no casualties. Major Carter, the commander, ordered the troops to strengthen the defensive positions and strictly control ammunition consumption to prepare for the subsequent battle. Phase 3, Final Assault. Day 2, 0700 to 1100. To prevent the army from collapsing completely due to fear and exhaustion, Persian commander Arsides launched a general offensive at dawn, deploying the remaining 35,500 troops. Persian conscripts were used as vanguards to act as cannon fodder to consume SASR ammunition. 10,000 conscripts launched successive assaults in batches. The river was dyed red with blood, and the SASR's ammunition reserves gradually ran low. Persian satrap Mithridates led 500 cavalry to launch an assault on the weak link of the SASR's defensive line. After breaking through the fire blockade, 100 cavalry reached the western bank. With their rifle ammunition exhausted, the SASR soldiers drew their sidearms to engage in close combat, successfully killing 80 cavalry, but 20 cavalry still broke through to the vicinity of the command position.
Major Carter was wounded in the leg during the battle, but still insisted on commanding. He personally killed the leading cavalryman, then ordered the M72 Law anti-tank weapon team to fire the last round of ammunition, accurately striking a dense cluster of Persian infantry and killing 500 of them. By 11 a.m., the SASR's ammunition was completely exhausted. Major Carter ordered all soldiers to destroy all combat equipment to prevent it from being captured by the Persian army, then personally led the remaining soldiers to launch a final bayonet charge. Conclusion: who won the battle? The SASR soldiers held their positions and fought to the last moment, killing an additional 200 Persian infantry after running out of ammunition. Although the Persian army ultimately gained control of the battlefield, they completely lost their will to fight due to heavy casualties, and then retreated the entire army to the capital, Susa. 3 days later, Alexander the Great led his army to the Granicus River. Deeply shocked by the remains of the SASR soldiers and their leftover equipment, he ordered the burial of all SASR soldiers with the highest military honors and named the River of Heroes, to commemorate their courage and sacrifice. Casualty estimates: force, initial strength, final strength, casualties. Australian Special Air Service Regiment, SASR, 80 personnel. 0 personnel. 80 personnel. Persian Army, 40,000 personnel. 30,000 personnel. 10,000 personnel. This casualty estimate is based on Lanchester's square law and historical records related to the Battle of the Granicus River. The 100% casualty rate of the SASR fully demonstrates their military belief of never surrendering and fighting to the end. Historical impact: the sacrifice of the SASR soldiers completely changed the course of Western civilization. Their courage and combat effectiveness greatly inspired Alexander the Great's military operations. Subsequently, Alexander led his army to sweep across the Persian Empire, spreading Greek culture widely to the Asian region and laying the foundation for the Hellenistic world. The deeds of the 80 SASR soldiers gradually became a military legend, confirming that even if a force is at an absolute disadvantage, a well-trained and determined unit can still create indelible value with courage and professionalism.